Reaction time is a factor in this, so please pay attention. Where do you live?
3rd sector, uptown.
Nice neighborhood?
Very. Is this going to take long?
Just keep your pants on, Spencer. What do you do for a living?
I teach political science.
What's your name?
Spencer Gregorian. I really think my lawyer should be here.
I'm not going to ask you anything incriminating. For your anniversary, your spouse gives you a real goldfish.
I donated to a family that couldn't afford an animal.
A man dressed in rags approaches you on the street and asks for money.
I tried to help him, of course. Buy him dinner or take him to a shelter.
Are you taking any drugs?
No. How does your machine work? Is it a lie detector?
Not exactly. Your verbal responses aren't what's important. Why? You got something to hide, Spencer?
Absolutely not.
Describe in single words only the good things that come into your mind about your mother.
Patient, brave, loving.
You're crying. Why is that?
Crying? It's nothing to be ashamed of. I might cry for any number of reasons.
I'll bet. You return from work to find that your home has been burglarized.
I'd call the police.
Using the first words that come into your mind, describe your childhood.
Safe. Protected. Loved.
When did you stop beating your spouse?
That's offensive.
The test is designed
I know what it's for.
to provoke you. Seems to be working. Out of the corner of your eye, you see a large black spider crawling up the wall.
I'd call animal services, of course. I wouldn't try to move it myself, not without proper equipment.
You're suddenly very afraid. Why?
Perhaps I've just seen one of you Blade Runners. What's the term? Retire someone.
That'd make a rep scared.
Killing makes everyone afraid.
How old are you?
43.
You notice someone attractive across the room.
If I thought the attraction was mutual, I would ask her out for coffee or lunch.
It's the first day of school and the teacher calls on you.
I'd hope I knew the correct answer.
Your best friend has done something to make you angry.
I wouldn't keep it bottled up inside. I'd tell her what was bothering me.
You're having a very erotic dream.
I'm sure it's very interesting. Is this going somewhere, Detective?
You're giving a speech to a crowd of hundreds. First, one person starts to laugh. He leans over and says something to the people around him. Soon the whole audience is roaring with laughter and pointing at you.
That's insulting.
Hitting too close to home?
That never happened. And even if it did, well, if I have to be scorned to get my message out, then that's what I'm going to do.
You suddenly feel the urge to commit suicide.
I love life too much to commit suicide. You wouldn't know about that, would you?
You're 7 years old. You manage to steal several marshmallows from the kitchen and sneak them back to your bedroom. You're caught, and your father spanks you.
Well, it sounds like I deserved it. But my father didn't believe in corporal punishment.
You have a little boy. He shows you his butterfly collection, plus the killing jar.
I take him to a psychiatrist.
What's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you?
I'm not answering that.
A teacher calls you stupid in front of the rest of the class.
I try to do better next time.
In a magazine, you come across a full-page photo of a nude girl. The girl is lying on a bearskin rug.
Disgusting. I throw that trash away.
You're watching TV. Suddenly you notice a wasp crawling on your wrist.
A wasp. That's an insect, isn't it?
Yeah, it stings.
Well then, I'd have to be careful. I'd stay still until it flew away.
You see a documentary about 20th century tuna boats. At the end, you feel like taking up fishing.
Ridiculous.
You've been drafted into the Army. During a boot camp hazing, you're bound, blindfolded, and forced to eat worms.
Hazing's illegal.
Oh yeah, you're really worried about breaking the law. Wonder why I'm the one on this side of the bars.
Civil disobedience has a long history in our world.
So does genocide, but I ain't out butchering my neighbors. Your child comes home with a black eye.
I'd call the school.
You're having dinner at a friend's home. Halfway through the appetizer, he tells you that you've been eating goose liver pâté.
I wouldn't eat it, and I confront him.
You're given a calfskin wallet for your birthday.
I'd return it to the person who'd given it to me.
You wouldn't report him?
It depends on how close a friend he is.
You pour yourself a drink. Every time you finish one, you have another until you vomit. You wake up hungover and depressed.
What's your point?
Just say whatever comes into your mind.
You're a brutish oaf and a murderer, and I am not an alcoholic.
There you go. You're visiting the dentist. At the receptionist's desk is a huge bowl of fresh-cut flowers.
That's illegal, isn't it? I'd mention it to the secretary.
You rent a mountain cabin. On the walls, someone has hung old maps and Currier and Ives prints. A deer's head is mounted above the fireplace. A full stag with developed horns.
I'd leave.
Like my briefcase? Department issue. Baby hide. 100% genuine human baby hide.
Appropriate. For a killer.
You're watching an old movie. It shows a banquet in progress. The guests are enjoying raw oysters. The entree consists of boiled dog.
And this test is supposed to determine if the subject is a replicant?
Is that an answer?
Even a replicant would react to these questions.
Yes, but slowly and not as strongly. Let's continue. You're at a restaurant with friends. One of them orders lobster. The chef drops the lobster into the tub of boiling water while you watch.
Are you trying to make me sick?
They're just questions. You're on a farm. You get into the pen to feed the pigs. In their excitement, the animals knock you down into the mud. Using a butcher knife, you slit the throat of the nearest sow. You're covered in blood as you stumble to your feet.
My God. You know, I actually feel sorry for you, Detective McCoy. The lack of empathy. Have you ever taken this test?
I don't need to. I know what I am.
So do I.
You've been kidnapped. Your captors tell you that you'd better think about what you did to deserve this.
I try to reason with them.
You're going to die. It may be soon. Death. The grave. Rot.
You're enjoying this.
It may be soon. The readouts don't lie. You're scared. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone.
This conversation is over, Detective. I don't have to sit here and take abuse.
Test terminated.
You're in a desert, walking along in the sand, when all of a sudden you look down and see a tortoise. It's crawling towards you. You reach down and flip the tortoise on its back.
I wouldn't do that.
But if you did, the tortoise lays on its back, its belly baking in the hot sun, beating its legs, trying to turn itself over. But it can't. Not without your help. But you're not helping. Why is that?
You bastard.
They're just...
I want to see my attorney. Now!
When I'm done. Maybe. What do you think it's like to be a replicant?
Horrible. Frightening.
Why?
They're hunted creatures. Anyone can gun them down without consequence. I'd say that's frightening, wouldn't you?
Yeah. You see an oversized book with pictures of exotic animals on the cover. The title is Big Game Hunting in Zaire.
And let me guess, pictures of dead animals inside.
Curious, you flip it open. There's a picture of a man standing with his foot on a dead Cape buffalo. You find yourself fascinated. You keep paging through it, seeing picture after picture of animals laid to waste, each more gruesome than the last.
These questions are becoming predictable, Detective.